For our project, we called our story Elon the King. It is a sci-fi retelling of Oedipus the King, and we are Taylor, Matthew, and Leo.
So some background on the play. The play Oedipus the King was first produced in Athens, Greece in 1429 BCE. Oedipus the King won first prize at the City Dionysia event in Athens, and Oedipus the King is part of the trilogy called the Theban Plays. It was the first play of the trilogy, followed by Oedipus at Colonius and Antigone.
So here's some more background on the play. 3 historical events going on during this play. The Peloponnesian War was happening between Athens and Sparta. Athens was recovering from a devastating plague that had killed a large percentage of the population. And Pericles, a prominent Athenian statesman, had recently died. And here's a few historical facts about the author. The author's name was Sophocles. He was born in Colonus near Athens, Greece, around 496 BCE. He was a well-respected playwright and won many awards for his plays during his lifetime. He wrote over 120 plays, but only 7 of them have survived in full. He died in Athens in 406 BC at the age of 90.
For our synopsis, we have Oedipus the King is a tragedy written by Sophocles in ancient Greece, set in the city of Thebes. The play revolves around the life of King Oedipus, who is known for his intelligence and wisdom. The story begins with a plague that struck the city, causing crops to fail and people to die. Oedipus sends his brother-in-law, Creon, to the Oracle of Delphi to learn what can be done to stop the plague. Creon returns with the news that the city is cursed because the murder of the previous king, Laios, has not been brought to justice. Oedipus vows to find the murderer and punishes him, not knowing that he is the culprit himself. As he dives deeper into the investigation, he discovers the shocking truth that he is the son of Laios and Jocasta, the former queen, and that he has unknowingly fulfilled the prophecy that he would kill his father and marry his mother. Overwhelmed with grief and shame, Jocasta hangs herself and Oedipus blinds himself. The play ends with Oedipus being exiled from Thebes and left to wander in despair.
So we wrote down some key quotes that we found from the book. So the first one here, now I am here. I will begin the search again. I will reveal the truth, expose everything. Let it all be seen. This shows Oedipus kind of right as he became new king. He was like, I'm going to take charge. He was really confident that he could solve this thing, and he really thought he was the one to save his people. The next quote we have from Tiresias, wisdom is a curse when wisdom does nothing for the man who has it. Once I knew this well, but I forgot. I should never have come. So this is kind of like Tiresias, he knows more than what the story tells. So he's kind of just like saying, Oedipus, you don't really want to look into this thing. Like, you're not going to like how it turns out. It's kind of like forewarning and foreshadowing. Let it break. Let everything break. I must discover who I am. Know the secret of my birth, no matter how humble, how vile. So that's Oedipus. Like, he's getting really, like, confused. Probably just, like, really wants to know what's going on because all these hints have been thrown at him so far. And he's just really eager to know the truth of his birth, but he doesn't really know that once he knows that, his life just kind of goes downhill from there. And the last one here that we talked about a lot in class and in discussions, light, 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 never again flood these eyes with your white radiance. Oh gods, my eyes, all the oracles have proven true. This is kind of the moment where he realizes, oh geez, like I fulfilled this prophecy without doing anything, and it's kind of just sums up the whole drama of the play.
So, in this play, there's peripeteia, anagnorisis, and hamartia. The peripeteia occurs when Oedipus discovers that he has unwittingly killed his own father and married his own mother, causing him to lose everything he held dear. The anagnorisis occurs when Oedipus learns the truth about his identity and realizes that he has fulfilled the prophecy that he had tried to avoid. Oedipus's hamartia is his pride and determination to uncover the truth, which ultimately leads him to discover his own guilt in the tragic events that have unfolded.
So now going into the chorus. In this story, the chorus is a group of Theban citizens who function as a collective character representing the voice of the people. They do not participate in any of the action directly, but they serve as commentators and intermediaries between the characters and audience. Their primary role is to comment on events, offer moral and ethical perspectives on the characters' actions, and provide background information that helps the audience understand the context of the story. They serve as a reminder of the play's social and political context, highlighting the importance of civic duty and the consequences of actions that affect the community. They function as proxies for the audience, expressing the audience's reactions and emotions to the play that are unfolding.
So here's our first character, big guy, Oedipus himself. He's a very complex character. He makes for a great protagonist of the film. He's known to be intelligent, analytical. He's impulsive and quick-tempered and stubborn. Kind of a good mix to make an interesting protagonist. So overall, he wants to uncover the truth about his muddy past. Just knowing, well, he didn't know it's muddy, but that's kind of the whole story. He's trying to figure out who killed King Laius and caused the plague around Thebes, but that ends up being his own undoing. He's both the husband and son to Jocasta, and the story unfolds solely on his decisions.
So our next guy is Creon. He's the brother of Jocasta and a loyal advisor to King Oedipus. He's portrayed as intelligent and pragmatic statesman because of the advice that he gives to Oedipus. And he becomes more critical of Oedipus as the play goes on. He's important to include in our adaptation because he offers reasonable advice to Oedipus during the play, and his commitment to justice is an important theme in the play.
Next up, we have Jocasta. She is the wife of Oedipus and the queen of Thebes. She is portrayed as an intelligent and caring and fiercely protective of her family. But she is also both the mother and wife of Oedipus, although they don't realize their relation until the end of the play. She could be included in the adaptation because of her central role in the action of the play. Her compassion and loyalty to her family provides much for the drama.
So here's the first symbol. We decided to go with eyes. Eyes represent both sight and knowledge. One of the quotes we have here from the play is, "How could my eyes, how could I have looked at anything with what human eyes could I have gazed? On my father, on my mother." It's a piece of imagery in the play that's used when Oedipus gouges his eyes out. He realizes that it's too painful to look at anything or any of the actions that he has done throughout the story after the consequences of killing his father and sleeping with his mother.
Our next symbol is the crossroads. It symbolizes the choice and paths that people take in life. The crossroads is also where Oedipus began the prophecy when he killed his father and would later marry his mother. These intersections represent the pivotal moments in Oedipus's life, where he made choices that ultimately led to his downfall.
The next symbol we have is the plague. So the plague that strikes Thebes represents the disease and corruption that infects society when justice is not served. It is a physical manifestation of the moral decay that has taken hold of the city, and only through the resolution of Laius' murder can the plague be lifted. In the text, Oedipus says, "Children, poor helpless children, I know what brings you here. I know. You suffer. This plague is agony for each of you, but none of you. Not one of you suffers as I do. Each of you only suffers for himself. Only himself."
And that's a little foreshadowing that the plague was by himself. One of the themes we decided to go with for our story that we recognized was the limits of human knowledge. Humans are limited by their ability to understand and control the world around them. So despite Oedipus' intelligence and insight, he was unable to detect the truth of his own identity in the events of his past. That's just like, regardless how smart he was, he could not foresee that happening. As the play progresses, Oedipus becomes increasingly frustrated with his inability to solve the mystery of Laius' murder, and he eventually blinds himself as a symbol of his own limitations. The chorus goes on saying, "You cannot hide from that light, your own life opening itself to all."
So our next theme is the consequences of pride and arrogance. Excessive pride and arrogance lead to the downfall and ruin of Oedipus. Oedipus's tragic flaw is his belief in his own superiority and refusal to listen to others, even when they are trying to help him. His pride blinds him to the truth about his own life, and he only realizes his mistakes when it is too late. And a quote here is, Oedipus is the source of the plague that wastes Thebes.
The next thing we have is the power of fate and destiny. So human beings are subject to the whims of fate and destiny, and that our lives are largely determined by forces beyond our control. From one of our sources, it read, "Fate is sealed even before his birth." So this is talking about how Oedipus's fate is sealed before his birth. And then the play represents Oedipus pitting his individual strength against the fate announced for him by Apollo and only succeeding in participating in it and making it come true.
So for our movie setting, we decided to go with a colony on the planet Mars called New Thebes. In our adaptation, Earth takes place in the place of Corinth. The International Space Station acts as the crossroads, and it is called the Crossroads in the film. Similar to the original story, Oedipus the King, these places are the new locations where the characters travel between.
So our first character is the Martian AI, which takes the place of the Oracle. He's authoritative, powerful, and mysterious, and acts as the role of the Oracle of Delphi, as well as the blind prophet Tiresias. This character would be played by Samuel L. Jackson. His role of Nick Fury supports his casting, as he is used to having only one eye on set, making him the perfect combination of character of a half-blind AI. Make the Lawrence Fishburne joke more prominent.
The next new character we have is the Mars rover. This character is enigmatic, powerful, and arrogant, and acts as the role of the Sphinx from the original story. And this character is voiced by Josh Brolin, and his choice was based off his powerful performance as Thanos, and he has a deep, smooth voice, which is great for riddles.
All right, our third character isn't exactly a character. We decided to do a new adaptation of the chorus. So we're choosing to use Twitter itself. Twitter does not participate in any action of the play, rather than it's just kind of commentary of current events happening in the movie. We're going to have all the Twitter tweets voiced over by David Attenborough. We choose David Attenborough because he's the narrator of a lot of the Planet Earth documentaries. It's just a nice, soothing voice that, it's kind of impartial when he's talking. You just kind of get the information out there.
So the plot of our adaptation. Elon Musk plays himself as the visionary founder of SpaceX. He wants to colonize Mars, but while on the way at a space station called Crossroads, he kills an unknown Martian in a fit of rage. Elon founds the colony on Mars and solves the riddle of the Mars rover, allowing him to take over the Martian city of New Thebes. Soon, the colony is ravaged by COVID-27. Elon consults his trusted Martian AI, known as the Oracle, who tells him the only way to stop the plague is to solve the murder of the previous king of New Thebes. Elon sets out with a trusted team of scientists, including the ex-queen of New Thebes, Jocasta. As he delves deeper into the mystery, he discovers he is a Martian, and his father, Laius, exiled him to Mars as a baby, after the Oracle told him his son was destined to kill him, meaning his lover, Jocasta, is his mother, and he killed Laius at the Crossroads. Elon blinds himself in despair, unable to face the truth of his actions. He is then exiled from the planet Mars and must live in Canada.
For our new movie adaptation, one of our symbols is the eyes, similar to the old one. So very similar to the symbol of eyes from the original story, Oedipus the King. The eyes still represent both sight and knowledge. Like how Oedipus blinds himself, Elon in our new movie adaptation blinds himself in despair, unable to face the truth of his actions.
So the other symbol we're going to adapt in our movie would be the International Space Station. The International Space Station would be the modern adaptation of the Crossroads from the original play. In the movie, it's going to be called the ISS Crossroads. This is the location where Elon Musk kills Laius unknowingly, who is just disguised as a general Martian. The movie will go into details. It fits the new setting because this is like a good space version of a in between planets. It's a good like in between area. It's where space travel is really common. It just kind of makes sense for the story.
So our next symbol is COVID-27. COVID-27 in our movie adaptation acts like the plague from the original story Oedipus the King. It represents the disease and corruption that infects society when justice is not served after the murder of Laius. It is a physical manifestation of the moral decay that has taken hold in the city, and it is only through the resolution of Laius' murder that the plague can be lifted. It fits into the new setting, which takes place in the future after the era of COVID-19, and there's a new strain of COVID.
One of our new portrayed themes in our adaptation is the limits of human knowledge. Humans are limited by their ability to understand and control the things around them, and has led them to explore beyond our home planet Earth in search of answers. Despite our technological advances and impressive creations, we still want to push the known boundaries to expand our limits, like what Elon is doing with his efforts to colonize Mars. Like our original story, Oedipus the King, where Oedipus lacks the knowledge of his own identity and life events, Elon goes back to Mars in search of answers about his past.
The other theme portrayed in the film is the consequences of pride and arrogance. Too much pride and arrogance can lead to a person's downfall and ruin. This is important because smart, wealthy people like Elon Musk sometimes do things that they think are for the greater good without thinking their way through it. Like Oedipus, Elon believes that he is the smartest and the most superior individual above anyone else. And this can result in him being very disliked and start some beef between himself and others. Elon's excessive pride and arrogance could lead him to commit murder and blind him for realizing the unspeakable acts he committed after it was too late.
Next theme is power of fate and destiny. Elon has been dreaming of putting a man on Mars and becoming its so-called king. The billionaires believe the only way to save the future of humanity is to colonize space. That's a quote. Our adaptation connects the story of Oedipus the King and its theme of power and fate, with Elon's present-day hints claiming the trip to Mars is his destiny. And here we have a tweet supporting that claim.
Can't make this up.
So for the soundtrack of our new movie adaptation, we have two songs that we have picked out. The first one we have is Space Oddity by David Bowie. This song is about an astronaut taking off to space, and our movie adaptation involves space travel, so they have that in common. The lines from the song, "And I think my spaceship knows which way to go," and the line, "And there's nothing I can do," could be interpreted in a similar meaning to destiny, which is a major theme in our original story. The second song we have is Queen of Mars from the TV show Phineas and Ferb. This song is about a girl going to Mars for a new life and becoming the Queen of Mars. This song involves Earth, Mars, royalty, and space travel similar to our movie adaptation. The lyrics from the song, "It only took a magic portal to Mars, and now I'm the Queen of Mars," is like how in our original story, Oedipus, how Oedipus went to Thebes and became the king, and in our movie adaptation, Elon went to Mars to become the king of New Thebes.
Below we have listed our 6 sources used throughout our presentation, and I believe that is all.